Ralph, it was a pleasure to know you. Those are the words that I spoke to Ralph as he laid in hospice. And as I said those words, his wife, my mother-in-law, broke down in tears. 20 minutes later, he passed away at the age of 78 of cancer. I only knew Ralph for 4 years. But in those quick, brief 4 years, I wish I could have known him for a lot longer. He was a very unique individual. He was no saint, but he had his moments. Ralph had a lot of malapropisms, and that is when you say something that is very ridiculous, but it sounds like something similar. And Mary, his wife, used to keep a list of these malapropisms. And we, as a family, all of his family, would make fun of him in a good-hearted way, never in a vindictive way. And Ralph was the kind of guy that could make fun of himself and not take himself too seriously. And so that's why it's okay for us to this day. I'll sometimes say to Mary, do you remember when? Do you remember when the Browns came back and they had that quarterback that was going to lead them to the Super Bowl? Tim Kelch. And then there was a controversy a little bit later on, Kelly Holcomb. Remember Kelly Holcomb? Ralph's take on it was very simple. Kelly should be starting the quarterback because that Tim crotch stinks. That is a classic Ralph malapropism that we still laugh at today. Have anybody watched the show Wheel of Fortune? And what's that blonde's name that turns the letters over?
Vanna White.
Yeah. Ralph says, is she Cuban? What are you talking about? Havana White. It's a Ralph malapropism. He thought he was saying it right. He had one of the keys of the people that are really good with malapropisms is that they don't think of it as, they're not doing it to be funny. They're doing it to be, they hear bad. And Ralph does hear bad. Did hear bad. Ralph loved to talk. When there was a conversation, he would say, what'd you say? Say what? Because he wanted to butt into every conversation. There was a big family, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter. He loved family. Everybody would be talking. He'd walk up, hey. He's trying to get into the conversation. Even though he didn't hear what he thought he heard, and he didn't know what he was doing, he'd butt in and he'd talk. He'd say something. Hey? That was Ralph. So, and I say that because it all goes together with that inflection, if you will. I want to stay on sports for a little bit, because those were some of his better ones. One day we were over there on a Sunday, again the family, and Jerry, his son, said, when's that game on? When's the Indians game on? Or something about, when's the game on, the big game? Oh, it's on 2 o'clock. What station is it on? Ralph says, well, it's on that sports station, PMS. The thing of it is, we knew what he meant. Nobody had to say, what did you say? What did you mean? It was close enough that we knew, okay, ESPN. Cool. Carry on. Not a problem. Remember that baseball center fielder? I think it was center fielder. Coco Crisp? Played with the Indians 4 or 5 years ago. He went on a hitting, or lack of a hitting spree, where he went about 4 or 5 games and he struck out 15 times out of 20 or something. Real weak, And they're making comments on the news about getting rid of him because he's a weak hitter. And Ralph says, they need to get rid of that Cocoa Puffs. Close. Ralph was just a classic guy. His wife had problems with the eyes. She has cataracts. She was developing over the years. And Ralph, being the dutiful husband, said, you need to go to that cardiologist. And when his favorite daughter, Monica, granddaughter Monica, would come to visit, and this one particular time, she had just started to, she got a cell phone, and she was just getting to about 13, 14. She had a boyfriend in the basement to talk to her boyfriend on her cell phone. And Ralph loves Monica. He says, "Where's Monica?" And somebody said something. He said, Ralph said, "Oh, she's down there in the basement on her cellar phone." And so we knew what he meant. Well, the long and short of it is, I could probably go on for 20 minutes on Ralphisms, because they were all over the board. But I just want to share a little bit about Ralph with you. I've given this Ralphism speech over the years. I've given it 3 or 4 times, as Dan and Carol well know, and a few others maybe well know. Maybe Greg has heard it before, I'm not sure. I've given this before. But I don't think that it's inappropriate to give it again, because I think that it's a way to keep Ralph's memory alive, at least especially for me, because he was a very unique individual. Mr. Toastmaster.